We lost one of our senior students, and one of our teachers, our student Christopher Alexander Gualpa Lima and Miss Linda Kimball. So before we get started, let's just take a moment of silence just to. Our condolences and prayers are with all of their families during this difficult time. And with that, we'll start with the pledge. Okay. Oh, roll call.
Kate?
Here.
Gladys? Here. Dr. Crone? Lauren? Here. Juanita?
Here.
Cindy? Here. Sherry?
Here.
Sean? Here. Minnie? Here. Louisa?
Here.
And I'm here.
Thank you.
Okay, so good evening. We had a wonderful kickoff to this evening's Board of Ed meeting with some of the presentation through our students' Capstone Civic Action Projects. And I'd like to call Heather Lorenz to come up for just a moment, along with her amazing students, Juliana, Christina, and Luisa, Gianna, and Gabriella. Come on up.
Unfortunately, Gianna was unable to attend tonight.
Gianna's not here tonight. Well, if you could just talk to us a little bit about the genesis of the Capstone and what it really took to bring tonight together. I know that these young ladies did their Capstone in the last semester, but we were all very impressed with the poise, the confidence, the identity with the academies, and just this confidence that you all exuded. And I'm so proud of all of you, but I'd love to hear from your teacher and maybe a little bit from you about your experience.
Sure. So the Capstone project is, it's a civic action project, CAP, get it, Capstone. But it's also supposed to capstone their high school experience. And it involves the POG. They have to hit all of the attributes of the portrait of a graduate. They do research, they collaborate, they communicate, they come up with innovative ideas, like the T-shirt that she's going to tell you about, and they're doing civic action for their community. So they're also learning about their community while they're doing this. And I lost, oh no, there's the mic now. It's supposed to be a culmination, like a graduation, like kickoff, so to speak, that we're sending them off into the world with all of these skills that are embedded in practice throughout the semester so that when we get to the project, they're already ready to do it. And so I will let them speak more about that now. Your experiences?
If you just want to share a little bit about what the project meant to you. I know you did an amazing job articulating the research and your action steps, but just in general, how did you find the Capstone experience as a senior?
I found it kind of stressful sometimes. Dealing with work from other classes, my AP class, just dealing with a lot of stuff. But with the research that I made, it was really interesting, especially since the topic that I focused on was a topic that I was really engaged on. And well, my experience was good. I can't really speak for my partners that were unavailable to arrive, but I found it really fun.
Great, thank you.
So to touch base on what Christina said, yes, it was very stressful working on this project. I don't know about everyone in class. I know as a group we were a little bit stressed and we had our moments where communication wasn't our strong suit. But we felt this project was very useful and it does send us out into the real world, like Ms. Lorenz said, with these, with these skills and these like abilities. Also, like Christina said, I felt my topic, like, substance abuse and mental health were very interesting, and we were very interested in that topic and just further expanding our information in that topic and how it affects people.
Thank you.
I thought that in school, like, we do a lot of research-based topics, but I've never had to really like dive into a topic as deep as I did for my project. So I think it gave me a different perspective on like what it's like really involving yourself in something. So it definitely gave me a different perspective on how to learn, basically. It was a lot of self-guided learning, a lot of like self-paced, communicating with your group members. It was kind of on us to do what we needed to do and know what we needed to get done. But in the end, we definitely got it done, and I could say that I definitely learned something new and how to translate it to other things in the future.
Awesome.
Well, I thought it was a great experience just because we got to choose our own topic and what we wanted to do with it. We chose to do a Canva. I think that's just the best way that we could put or my group information, which was about sign effects that you can spot on students, and it was just easier and to read and just to take all the information with a Canva or a slide, something quick, something with small writing, not a lot of information to take in at first. And I enjoyed this process, this project. It wasn't rocket science. It was fine. And I feel like we didn't have a lot of homework, so the working class was honestly pretty chill. As long as you had your research that was, reliable and trustworthy, you could just be done for the day or for the class. So yeah, I really like the class. I really like the project.
Awesome. Well, thank you all so much. Heather, thank you for bringing this, being here tonight. Parents, thank you for bringing the students, and ladies, wonderful job. You were awesome. Thank you. Thank you again. Okay, up next, we have Danbury High School, Spotlight Your School. So I'm going to ask that team to come on up. You have a tough following here.
We're just going to take that off. Okay, thank you for having us here tonight. I know we got snowed out for our first time. We were going to do this with the other half of the academy, so we're here tonight with 4 of our other ones that we're going to be talking about. We'd love to get the other ones back in front if you can. Mic went out. So excuses if we're not super energetic tonight. It's been a little rough week at Danbury High School, so you know, we're going to try to do the best we can and bring our energy like we always do. With the goal always of becoming the #1 urban district in the state of Connecticut. I'm going to present a little bit on just the overview of Danbury High School, and I'm turning it over to the people behind me who will tell you what's actually going on within our academy models. With me tonight, I have Dr. Martins, our, stand up, bad hip and all, so she's here. Karina Janeo, who's our Exploration Academy Director. You'll hear from her. John LaRosa, who's in the back over there. Miss Teal, who is our Art Engineering Design one. Miss Lorenz, we just saw you. In the back there is Miss Grant. She's one of our deans. So we'll hear from most of them in a little bit. So as I mentioned, the school leadership team, the bolded people are the ones that you're going to hear from tonight as we begin to talk. So as a reminder to everybody, this is the setup of how our academies work. Every single 8th grader in the district starts at, when they come into 9th grade, at Danbury High School on the main campus, where they are put into Ms. Janeo's Exploration Academy, where we work very hard on, I'm doing it again, aren't I? Yep, that's her look to stop talking about what I'm going to talk about. To get them to understand our academy model, and then until the end, or I should say the middle of 9th grade, they make their selections to which academy they would like to go into 10th grade. Our wildly important goal, or WIG goals this year, were to improve our SAT scores, reduce our chronically absent students, and students back on track to graduation. You know, we would love to see our SAT scores go way up and our chronically absenteeism rate go way down, but it's a struggle with what's going on, not only coming out of COVID, but the current political climate is causing a little bit of a problem for us with attendance and the number of students who have left Danbury High School in the last year. From there, we're trying to raise our on-track graduation numbers as long as our 4-year cohort. So the driving numbers we had, our junior SAT score, which went up. We had a nice bump this reporting out of last year's group. Now we're trying to figure out why. Where did that come in? Was it a blip on the map? Was it just that grade? Or was it some of the structures we put in place? One of which was run by Ms. Grant, who's sitting back here. She ran an SAT academy on Saturdays that tutored kids. So we really think, and the data that she has shown us, especially this year as well too, has shown the students that attended multiple sessions, if not all of them, had significant bumps in their practice. So we're thinking that's one of the things that, plus some of the ways that we are turning over what we do in the classroom as well to try to get that to stay up. Number of chronically absent students, we've dropped it. We were actually highlighted by the state of Connecticut for our drop. What it is this year, I don't think we're going to be highlighted because we're kind of back up. As soon as we said, yes, we did it, we didn't take our foot off the gas and saying we still need to work on that, but it's creeped back up to where we almost were before, so we're working very hard to bring that down. Our graduation rate, the 4-year cohort, got another bump this year that came out from 80% to 83%. So we're trending in the right direction. Never as fast as we all would like it to, but pinpointing what's causing these to rise is what we're working on now, and how can we support those and make them wider throughout Danbury High School. I'm going to talk about what we did this year to amplify our student voice in our academies. Is we started our ambassador program, where we had a bunch of students that came in before school started in August, and took them into the Black Box and did our ambassador training with them, which was, you know, a offshoot of what they do in Nashville. And these students went through a pretty rigorous process to get there. It wasn't just a volunteer. You had to be nominated by an academy director after you showed and filled out the application. So filling out the application is sometimes a little bit difficult for our students. They don't want to do it, so that showed interest. From there, they went into an interview process and were selected to be the ambassadors. Now, these are the students, as we get rolling here, if any board members had any interactions or coming into our schools for tours, generally they're the ones that'll show everyone around. We train them a lot on their presentation skills, and we've talked to them about the talking points of their academies, and we let them go. We bought these awesome blazers that you'll see we all have. The kids have them. They've been great with it, and we're getting a lot of use as our academies in the Northeast are becoming more and more popular, and other places in Connecticut are looking to model what we're doing. These ambassadors are going to be extremely useful, especially next year when people come in. As an example, New Milford's coming in here next week. I'm not giving the tour. It'll be given by ambassadors. That's where we are now, and it's much better, as you all heard tonight, to hear from our kids than it is from me. So eventually, I will not be standing in front of you just to say hello. I will have ambassadors doing this, because that's fun. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Janeo in our Exploration Academy and tell you what she's been up to.
Okay. Good evening. Okay. Good evening. I'm really excited to come and be in front of you tonight and talk a little bit about what we've been doing in the Exploration Academy. As Dan mentioned, every student that comes into Danbury High School, if you're coming in as a brand new 9th grader, you are entering the Exploration Academy, where we are working really hard to support the transition from middle school to high school. Some of the work that we've done in the past 3 years is we have really set our on-track criteria. We have developed that with staff, and we promote it pretty much. We start in 8th grade when I visit the 8th grade, the middle schools. So, and that's our on-track criteria that you can see up in the left corner. We really try to start to get students to understand our credit system when they enter high school, our attendance policy. Attendance matters at the high school because it does impact grades with our CO policy, and just some of the other criteria that we promote. B's or better, right? We know that students who attain B's or better are just better equipped to enter the workforce or enter college after high school. So these are some of the things that we have solidified as pillars to be a student who's successful moving through year to year. In our academy, we really promote students to be lifelong learners. So we are getting them in tune with all the resources and everything that is available, not just within Danbury High School, but also now with our partnerships with the outside community. And so becoming a learner, that's one of the Portrait of the Graduate attributes that we really highlight and emphasize as they move through this first year. Communicators and collaborators. So not only in our academy course, but throughout the core classes, we really try to provide students with opportunities to work in groups, in pairs, really work on their communication skills so that they can eventually become advocates, not only for themselves, but for others. With one of the pillars of this academy model is the micro-credentials or the credentials. I'm proud to report that this year, 723 students who took our exploration seminar all attempted our career safe, time safe micro-credential. Also, in the second half of the year, for second semester, all students who were in good standing were offered the opportunity to take a post-university course. And we currently have 34 first-year freshman students who are taking college courses and can potentially earn 3 college credits at the end of this school year. So those are some of the things to highlight that we're really proud of. Moving on, I do feel very proud at the fact we are wrapping up year 3. So this work began in the Exploration Academy 3 years ago. Those are our first year kiddos that are now juniors. And we have pretty much solidified and created a system where every freshman in the last 3 years has been exposed to these experiences. And so we have our exploration seminar. This year, 98% of our students took the exploration seminar in the first semester of school. And so, students who did not are students who came in too late into the second semester. We have a 90% pass rate, which is pretty good in comparison to other courses offered at Danbury High School. Our freshman forum on substance abuse prevention has been going on for years, and we have a system to continue that. Actually, this year, it was our student ambassadors who led the panel and asked all the questions on that night of our freshman forum. We have quarterly celebrations. We continued our teaming model from the traditional freshman academy, and teams are meeting to celebrate students at the end of every quarter, really focusing on that, passing that on-track criteria that I showed you in the previous slide. We partner with M&T Bank and Junior Achievement, and we have had a financial reality fair for the last 2 years where our students come in and they're given kind of like a mock career and budget, and they go through a simulation of making financial decisions. We had our career expo for the 3rd year where we had over 50 partners. We hosted it here at West, and we were able to also give all of our 9th graders the opportunity to tour West. We've had motivational speakers, and I mean like world-renowned motivational speakers come and speak to our freshmen this year, just promoting making good choices and future planning. And then we also had a big reveal day to reveal which pathway each freshman got into this year. Coming to round off the end of the year, we will be taking every single freshman on a college field trip. Not to sell them on a college, but more to expose them to what a campus life looks like, what are the opportunities afforded to you if you decide you want to go to college. This is a picture from our reveal day this year. We had a great time. We planned it kind of pep rally style. We put all our students in the gym and we played lots of games. They did not know that they were grouped in with students of their new academy until the end. It was revealed to them. For the 3rd year, 94% of our students got one of their top 3 choices. Currently, for quarter 3, 80% of our students are on track. And for the month of March, we surpassed our expectations for chronic absenteeism in our academy, where we got that as low as 16.5% for the month of March. So we're really proud of that. Without further ado, I'm going to pass it on because I think I've spoken way too long. I think there's a lot to brag about, but I'm going to pass it on to John LaRosa.
Hi, so my name is John LaRosa. If you noticed in Karina's last picture, I was the fool wearing a shirt that was 2 different colors because currently I run 2 different academies. So the first academy that I'm running is here at West, and it's the Academy of Emerging Technologies and Entrepreneurship. So just a little bit about some of the stuff we're doing in classrooms to bring the theme of the academy, which is business and innovation, into the classroom. We recently had our stock market challenge. We had JA come into the building, about 20 members of JA volunteered to come in, and they run a fake kind of stock market day. So there's screens up that have current stock numbers that are trailing. The students get a set of money, and they have to decide what are they going to do with that money, how are they going to make the most out of it. And they call over a buyer, they tell them how much stock they want to buy or sell, and then they race up to the board to see kind of what's happening over time with that stock. So it was a great experience and brought kind of the traditional investment in stock market alive to kids. And we actually had students move on to the state competition in the stock market challenge, so it was excellent. In our innovation lab, we have a beautiful, beautiful big engineering room. Mr. Solt recently had the students just practice the engineering process, so they talk a lot about the process of engineering, which is planning, number 1, figuring out a problem, then making a plan for it and trying to execute that plan. His classroom has about 25-foot tall ceilings, so we thought, let's try to take advantage of his space. So the students actually had to design a vessel to keep an egg in. They raise the egg 25 feet in the air, and then released it, and they had to see if they could protect that egg from breaking when it hit the ground and go through that whole process. Then they had to revise that building that they made and try to figure out how might they improve it. So really hands-on work to try to bring the theme alive to students. Down in the bottom left, you'll see some of our students pressing shirts. We do have an active school store here at West as well as Maine. Previously, we used to buy a lot of the merchandise that we sold. So if it was a sweatshirt with the Danbury logo on it, we actually purchased that from a vendor, and they sent it to us screen printed and ready to go. Ms. Tuz, our business teachers, actually converted that our students actually design the logos. They order in the sheets that you can actually iron onto the shirt, and then they have heat presses. They actually do all of that work right here in the school. So again, trying to bring them an experience that takes what they're learning kind of from the book, but bring it into practice. They look at how much does the sweatshirt cost, how much did the logo cost, and try to come up with prices that match it. So we're really giving them the whole experience of being an entrepreneur. Lastly, one of the things that recently happened is, if you've noticed, if you've gone by Trader Joe's, they've got help wanted signs out. So what the classroom did is they ran mock interviews as if they were hiring for Trader Joe's. So one student played the employer and had a set of questions, and then they met with another student and ran through an interview process. So we had two different classes kind of work together. This class pretended they were the employee. This group pretended that they were the hopefully employee, and they interviewed each other, and then on another day they switched roles and got to do the other side of it. So that was great, listening to the students not only have to be an employer and think about what questions am I going to ask, but the students running interviews and learning how to prepare. Coach Ratchford came in recently and did something similar on it, because I think you're finding that sometimes kids need a little experience on how do you interview for a job. So we're trying to set them up for that, and then hopefully they can apply these skills to Park and Rec or to YMCA, some of the summer employment opportunities that are available for students, and can get those jobs. Really the first step in preparing them to get jobs after high school. The other thing we're trying to do in the academies is create community. That was a big push, right? So we're bringing themes into the classroom, and the second piece is trying to create communities. So in my academies, we have, and we've been doing this now for 2 years, we have very set goals that are explicit to students. Ms. Lorenz is in my academy. She's got these posters hanging in her classroom. And our goals for all of our students every single quarter are B's or better in all of your classes. We have an attendance goal of 2 or fewer absences in each quarter, which leads you to not getting our CO, which is credit-only policy, right? We're trying to build them towards getting the grade that you earn and not having your attendance impact that. Also, if you're in school, you've got a better chance of getting B's or better. And then a social involvement goal. So we celebrate, Ms. Grant, my dean, and I, every single quarter, bring all of our students in. We highlight the students. They each get individually called up in awards if they've met one of these goals. And then we actually, after we do the celebration, students that get 2 or more certificates actually get to come to a fun flex. And you can see in the top left, that's some of our business teachers playing dodgeball. All of the students in that dodgeball chose dodgeball. That's what they wanted to do. But they earned 2 or more academy awards. So we try to, again, build that community. The teachers are involved in the fun flexes. They're involved in the celebrations, really to build a tight-knit community. It was hard to do when you had 3,600 students. It's a lot easier to do when you've only got about 150 in a grade in your academy. Mr. Donovan spoke about our ambassadors. The bottom left is we do instructional rounds, teachers visiting classrooms and seeing what we're doing in the classrooms that's going well and maybe what should we focus in on. Our ambassadors are actually part of that instructional round. So we have students that spend the whole day with teachers. They have conversations about what they're seeing in the classroom. They're very familiar with what our goals are as a school, and they become part of the conversation of how do we better classrooms for students. Today we had Shake Shack come as one of our guest speakers. They came and met with students and talked to them again about how do you become an entrepreneur, and then also how do you get jobs in some of these places. So we're trying to just keep exposing students to really great activities that better them for their future. The last one in Family Feud, I will just point out that's Miss Grant dressed as Steve Harvey wearing a bald cap and a mustache. we tried to get the students to know more about their teachers. So over about a week, teachers hinted about things like, what's your favorite color? What's your dog's name? Didn't say why they were hinting these things. They just kind of got dropped in conversation. And then we ran Family Feud of, do you know your teacher? So we ran it like that. We had kids come up, they had buzzers, and we ran a competition one side of the black box with the other. Ms. Grant came out dancing to the Steve Harvey Family Feud music. It was great activity to just build community. My other academy, I'll do this one quicker, is the Academy of Clean Energy and Green Design, so really focused on environmental sciences. We've been doing a great job in this academy getting students out in the field, and that's the big push here is we teach you about the environmental science in the classroom, but how do you get hands-on with it? So that's students in waders down in the Long Island Sound looking at invasive species, a little crab called the Asian shore crab that's outcompeting our natives crab. So these students, some of them have never done anything like this, but they're hands-on collecting invasive species at the shore, then bringing them back to the lab, doing research on them, collecting data, and their data is actually published nationally in science magazines and science research with Sound Waters, the group that we do it with. So they can actually say they're published scientific authors at this point because they've collected the data that has been used in it. And then in the classroom, we've been working with our hydroponic systems and our greenhouse to get the kids hands-on again, learning the systems that are needed to produce foods in a sustainable way. And just last week, we had our Earth Day Career Fair where we had about 40 industry partners that are all focused on environmental science come in and talk to the students about what careers are available in the environmental science field. It was pretty excellent. We have students there, they're holding these little hissing cockroaches. They're about this big. You wouldn't think a kid would want to hold them, but they did a great job kind of getting involved. I do run 2 academies, and I want to shout out Alex Grant because she does a ton of work with me. So 2 academies is a lot. She does a lot of the community building stuff. So when we do the celebrations, Alex is the one pulling the data. Alex is the one really planning those events to make it special for students, contacting homes, letting parents know how good their kids are doing, and then setting goals for the students that aren't meeting those goals. How do we get you to be Bees Are Better? How do we get you to be in school every day? So kudos to her for all that hard work. And next we have, do I have one more? Oh, same thing, right? So this is our community involvement. Thank you, Ms. Teal. Same goals we have in this academy, the Bees Are Better, social involvement and attendance. And we're doing similar things, similar celebrations. We're doing tie-dyeing next week with the students. We're gonna let them tie-dye their own academy shirt to build community, just a fun event with teachers and students together, just trying to make them feel connected to the school.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. All right, so I'm Melissa Teal. I'm the Academy Director for Art, Engineering, and Design. There are essentially 3 pathways that our kids get to focus on: architecture, manufacturing, and engineering. Our academy focus predominantly on hands-on experiences, which we've been able to provide a lot of for students this year, starting in the fall where we held an AED carnival, where students in the applied engineering pathway actually got to build carnival games from scratch. They got to go through the process like an actual engineer would, where they designed everything and then got to build the actual equipment. And then we invited freshmen from Karina's academy to come in and actually play the games, which immediately built some interest in what was happening in our academy. We also held an engineering day right before Christmas break, where we were able to invite industry partners in. Shout out to Mike Seelig for help making that happen, to come in and help students. We gave a design challenge to essentially pick up this ping pong ball with this mechanism that they had to create from scratch. They were given these random supplies, masking tape, sticks, cotton, like just random supplies, and it was really cool to watch the innovation that happened while they were trying to create their design and build to win, because that's essentially what they wanted to do, was to win. And the natural competition that happened in the community for AED that day. There's been a very natural scaffold of the experiences in the academy this year in terms of things that happened in the classroom and the hands-on projects, and then getting to go see those things in action through some of the partners that we've been able to work with this year. in the fall, we got to go, some of those pictures that you see there, like that robot in the bottom right, we went to the Southwest Roadshow at the University of Bridgeport, where they had some hands-on experiences for the kids where they got to use an Xbox remote control to operate engineering equipment. And we learned as teachers too, that that's actually what's happening in the engineering world. So that it's really opening the doors for a lot of students, because it feels like a very unique skill, but it's expanding out what it looks like in the real world. They got to work with 3D printers, and our kids were so great on that trip that UB actually invited us back to come back and do our own tour of UB and their tech lab, because when we were there with about 20, 30 other schools, but our kids stood out in how well-versed they were, and I want to give a huge shout out to Justin Morgan. That's his class in those top 2 photos, and the engineering notebooks that he has them keep, because they know what they're talking about, they document it, they track it, you can see their growth in those things. Oh, and I'm so sorry, I'm gonna go back for 1 second. I also like to call us the Iron Man Academy. I want to give a shout out to Dr. Obry, who created our AED logo. That's Iron Man as the Hatter. Just because of a lot of the skills that Iron Man uses in the Marvel movies are a lot of the skills that we focus on in our academy. We've had some amazing field trip opportunities this year. Specifically, or more recently, our kids got to tour the Amazon facility in Windsor, Connecticut. It's 3.8 million square feet. Can you hear me? Yeah, 3.8 million square feet, one of the biggest in New England. And the kids were actually able to interact with a lot of the equipment. And they're also going to Eversource next week. There's an architecture field trip that's happening where they're actually going to get to tour the city of Danbury and talk about the architecture in the actual city, so they can see some of the stuff that they've talked about in their classes, again, providing a real experience so they can see what they're learning in action. We have Larry Smith, who works for Hubble Electric Heaters, came in and spoke to our students, but also spoke to the teachers in the academy. And that's been another piece too that I've really tried to emphasize this year, is that this work is happening in all of the classes, so that the teachers who teach English still feel connected to the work that's happening in the engineering classrooms. So we've talked a lot about soft skills, and when we brought speakers in, we've talked a lot about what skills should those teachers be focusing on. If they're not talking about ACDC or CAD certifications or things like that, what are those types of things? And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, don't worry, I didn't know what it was either till like a year or 2 ago. But essentially, they're the different types of certifications in the engineering field, and just what kind of skills the teachers could be using in their classes, whether they're teaching English, history, art, all of those amazing things that are happening. In the future, what's happening here, we have some of those equipment that you see in those pictures. That is a mock-up of the 2 labs that are coming to Danbury High School. The one on the left is our manufacturing lab that's going to get put in over the summer. It was really cool, especially on the Amazon field trip and the UB field trip, is a lot of the equipment that the kids got to interact with, we're actually going to have in their classrooms. So next year when we get to replicate that Amazon field trip, they'll know what the equipment is when they're seeing it. It won't be the first time that they're seeing it, and they'll be able to have conversations around that too, which is really cool. We're also designing an AED design lab, which will be for the architecture students, where they'll get to do regular mock-ups and blueprints like they would as real architecture. So again, emphasizing the real hands-on experience for the students. And I did just want to add too, I wanted to give a shout out to Elise Tobin and Melissa Nadeau, because we've gone on a ton of field trips this year, and between Ready CT and the board, the kids have not had to pay for anything. Which has been really, really great. Transportation is often an issue for field trips, and it's been covered for the students, and we've been able to offer this to all of the students. Every AED student has had an opportunity to go on at least one of these trips for free, which is awesome for our community. So thank you.
Thank you very much. I don't think I have to touch that, actually. Okay. I think this is the last slide. I'm the quasi-closer. So we have obviously done a number of structural changes to the programming at the academies at Danbury High School. And so while we are asking students, to behave differently in a model, we really need to do the same thing for teachers. And so we're really encouraging them to continue utilizing a career-connected lens as Melissa said, not just in the CTE classes, but in all of the classes. And from the work that we've seen teachers submitting, we've been collecting some of the tasks that they're devising so that way we can give them feedback on those. And we definitely see a quality increase and more confidence, I would say, in embedding the career connection lens into those tasks and project-based units, which will be continuing the focus. We continue to offer flex and after-school tutoring and credit restoration opportunities after school. We're looking now quite critically at the most effective ways long-term to support students with that. And so we're taking a look at our credit recovery now with our school leadership team, but the after-school tutoring and Twilight have been quite successful and saved the district a lot of money because then the students don't have to come back for a whole semester or year to retake that class. And really challenged. And I think that the work that we began, first devising the portrait of the graduate attributes, and hindsight, even though it was during a pandemic, that was the easy part. Getting a group of people to agree on what we thought for kids, was pretty easy compared to now how do we develop programming and structures and facilities and relationships in a way that we just haven't conceived of. And I think that, Dan shared some of the good data that we got at the end of the year last year. I think a lot of folks in the community were concerned, so now we're gonna be like a little Abbott Tech. And we're not. We increased our dual enrollment opportunities. We made the advanced placement honor roll through the College Board because of how many students and how well they did. So we are in the middle of a multi-year professional development plan, and we met with our planning team today. They were quite impressed with the work that they have seen, and we hope to continue not to disappoint. So if anyone has any questions of any, I know now's not the time, but please, feel free to reach out to myself or Dan and the directors about anything, or if you have a thought or a connection or a relationship that we could leverage, not exploit, leverage. So I'm going to turn it over to Dan to close it out for us.
I think now you can see why we only brought half here tonight. Remember, there's 4 other ones that were very eager to get here as well, to kind of show you what they've been doing. It's been a lot of work to get where we are now, but we're going to continue going. Everything seems to be trending in the right direction. You're starting to get a feel in both schools as we exit an awesome class of 2026 and are fully wall-to-wall with everybody in an academy. I think you'll see it coming a little further. As Dr. Martin said, the one thing that, the expectation is that maybe you're not going to understand every aspect of these academies, but we kind of end with this one, is why we do it. If you tell me, I forget, you teach me, I remember, you involve me, I learn. So we're involving kids in what's going on. We're involving them in the process of learning. We're involving them in decision-making within the school through the instructional rounds that they're invited to. And that's where we're going from here. So with that, thank you all very much for having us, and we look forward to bringing the other 4 at a different time. Thank you.
So thank you, Danbury High School staff, absolutely phenomenal. The number of opportunities that are being created for students right now, it's absolutely incredible. And to the directors who are taking charge and really leading those places and spaces, creating spaces for kids to learn, just amazing. The programming, I don't think anybody really realizes how deep this programming will go and where it's going, but I think we have a glimpse of what the future looks like. And so thank you very much. And Dan and Meg and Alexandra and Karina, the amount of work that goes into building systems and structures around this type of learning is intense, and your leadership has been key. So I just want to thank you for all the hard work, everybody. Thank you so much.
Lauren, can you do public participation for me?
The board welcomes public participation and asks that speakers please limit their comments to 3 minutes. Speakers may offer objective comments of school operations and programs that concern them. The board will not permit any expression of personal complaints or defamatory comments about Board of Education personnel, and students nor against any person connected with the Danbury Public Schools school system.
Thank you. We have one person signed up, Ron Semper.
Hey, how's it going? My name is Ron Semper from Five Ducks Academy. We are a children's educational and entertainment company based in Danbury. Through our company, we have a bunch of children's programming. We also do a summer camp right here in Danbury called Camp Five Ducks. We're going on our 6th year. We also create a lot of children's educational and just entertaining music for kids, all positive music for kids. And we have a song out right now that's reached over 12 million streams over all platforms, and celebrities like the Jonas Brothers and Mario Lopez use the song for their TikToks and their Instagrams and their Reels. And I'm saying all of this to say this, that this is a Danbury-based company, and we just want to bridge the gap because we want the world to know that this is coming out of Danbury. So everything that my company does is a reflection of Danbury. We just produced the ice cream truck theme song for the Danbury Police ice cream truck, which features the mayor as well. And right now we have a graduation song called Graduation Celebration, and we want the support of Danbury Public Schools to integrate the song with their graduation celebration for 2026 and moving forward. We're not requesting any sort of money, any sort of funding. We just want the elementary schools to utilize the song. That's all we're requesting. Even on the artwork of the song, we put Hat City on there, so because we're just trying to show that this is a Danbury company and we need the support of Danbury. We're just trying to bridge the gap. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who would like to speak? It's okay.
I just have a few comments to make. I'm Ann
Okay.
Riddle.
Thank
I was a teacher in Danbury, and and I'm excited to be here. This is what I was hoping for years. This was in the works, and it's exciting. And it's the first time I've been up here. I haven't been in the boardroom before, and I can see that it has everything that you need, especially all the screens that people can see and read, the audio, it's state of the art, something that really expresses the work in Danbury Public Schools. And I had more to say, and I'm just going to make it quick, but I'm hoping that now that we have this place with seating and all the visuals and the audio and parking, that the public will come and learn more about the schools. One time I came to a board meeting, and it was for another purpose, I don't remember, but the robotics team did a report on their award, and that showed me something that I knew nothing about at the time. And I think now I'm retired, I consider myself a community member, but it's so important for everyone to hear what you're doing, and the advancement is incredible. So I'm hoping there's a way that we could encourage the community to come to board meetings, because now we have this place and everything else that you need. And also it's good for the presenters that they don't have to worry about is someone going to see something or hear correctly. It's all set up here. So it's good to be here, and I'm going to come back again.
Okay, is there anybody else who'd like to speak? No? Okay, we will move on. Al, can you please do the consent calendar?
Motion that the Board of Education approve the consent calendar exhibits 26-68 and 26-69 in accordance with minutes of April 15, 2026, Sites and Facilities Committee, 26-68, April 15, 2026, regular board meeting, 26-69.
Thank you. Motion made by Al. Do I hear a second? Second by Kate. Any comments, questions, or concerns? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Do we have anybody from the educational staff representatives? No. Student representatives? Okay. We'll move on to our presentations.
All right, so up first, I'd like to welcome Alexis Kukos, the Executive Director for DSABC. Come on up, Alexis.
Thank you so much, Dr. Casimiro. Thank you all for having us here tonight. I also like to introduce our new board chair, Jessica Westerfield, who is also the director of HR for Lesser Evil, and she's been in this role for almost a year now. So tonight, we're just going to provide a very brief overview of DSABC. I know many of you in this room are familiar with our nonprofit organization, but for a few that don't know much about us, we'll do a very quick overview, and then we also want to provide with you an update of what we've been up to this year and our audacious goals going forward. Okay, no, it's a little tight here. So our mission is to build the character and confidence of students in Danbury to achieve personal and academic success. And we do this through business and community partnership. So coming on the heels of the wonderful presentation from Danbury High School, the ending slide talked about the whole child. And that's really what we're all part of. That in addition to, of course, helping students in their academics, we really want to make sure that they're supported socially and emotionally. So we've been doing this for now 36 years through our one-on-one school-based mentorship program. That's still going strong to this day. Next slide. Thank you. And we'll talk about that in a moment, but we also wanted to make a note on our scholarship program. So over the years, we've built up our scholarship fund, and currently we have 16 students from the Danbury schools who are graduating and going to be receiving one of these scholarships. And this is a great way to, of course, invest in their future, and we're continuing to invest in them even after they graduate. And they can use a scholarship from anything from tuition, vocational training, or for tools and supplies, they decide to go right into the field. Additionally, we have been poised as a great partner for the Danbury Public Schools, especially in the academy model. And we've been making great connections with our local businesses, with the academy directors that we heard from before, in helping find people for career talks, helping set up field trips. Most recently, we brought a great group of students from the SIM Academy, the Science, Innovation, and Medicine Academy, to Beringer Ingelheim, and that's now going on its third year in this coming fall. And with that, we've also been able to secure more mentors from Beringer Ingelheim. So it's been really that wraparound support from students seeing what their future could look like, but then also having that one-on-one connection while they're still in school that will set them up for success afterwards. So of course, our program runs strong because of the amazing community members that take a little bit of time out of their day, out of their week, to be there for our students. So currently we have over 20 partners, and to be a partner with DSABC doesn't mean you have to fund anything. It means that you just encourage your volunteers to be a part of our program and to volunteer with us. I know some of you on this board are actually some are active mentors, so I thank you. Almost 60% of our mentors do come from our business partners, and we've had quite a few new ones this year, including AB Electronics, which is right next door, Collins Hannafin, CT State, the Danbury campus, Fairfield County Bank. We're always looking for more business partners, so I always ask everyone I present to if there's anyone else that you're affiliated with that really has connections in the community that are looking to give back and be a part of something impactful, please, reach out to us. We'd love to work with them and meet with them. And here's just a snapshot, just a few quick stats on where we're at. To date this year, we've held 26 business community presentations or tabled at events, including many businesses in Danbury, in the greater Danbury area. we also, of course, try our best to find other community groups to be affiliated with and work with that, social groups from the Lions, the Rotary, just to share, of course, about our program, but also we're there to share about what the great work is happening in the district. So many people still don't understand all the amazing work that's going on in the wall-to-wall career academy model. So we always like to make an effort to share that with our greater community as well. To date, we have 86 new mentors trained just this year. We're on track to most likely hit at least 95 new mentors trained. We have a few more coming. And then, like I said, we have 25 active business partners right now. And a bit about our actual, who we're serving, our impact right here. Currently, we have 226 students enrolled in our program that are meeting regularly with a mentor in the Danbury Public Schools. About this time last year, we had 152 students. So even knowing that we graduated out 14 last year, and with students moving in and out of the district that we know happens so frequently, we've been able to increase by basically 50% in less than 1 year. We have currently mentors at every single public school in Danbury. There was a few schools that we didn't have at this time last year, but we're happy to say that we've brought our program back at South Street and also the Magnet School. We always have students cut in and out of the Reach Endeavor program. Currently, we have no one there at this time, but it doesn't mean that we won't support if students do go there. But we're really happy to say that we do have, that support every single school. We have a designated school liaison, usually the social worker or school counselor or psychologist, that's always looking out for who could benefit from this extra support from meeting with a mentor. And the mentor is simply there as a friend, a positive role model. They meet usually during lunch or study hall or free period, and they're there to build that positive connection. Be a trusted adult to our young people that is not their parent, not affiliated with the school or anything like that, but they are there in that consistent support. So this chart is getting bigger and bigger each year. That's hard to fit on one slide. But as you can see, a quick snapshot of, students that are in a program right now with the orange bars. And, each school, we pretty much consistently increased it based on need, of course. But our goal is always to, if a student wants a mentor, is interested in a mentor, we want to make sure that they have a mentor. And that's our really big goal and push. This year, we really tried our best to go to all the open houses in fall, to also connect with the parents directly, to say that there's this free program available to you, that you can support your child in this way. So that's something that we're hoping to continue to do next year as well. And then just a quick snapshot of our feedback from last year's survey. We always send out a survey to all of our students and mentors in May. For the students, of course, the ones that are in kindergarten, first and second grade, they work with their school counselor to fill this out. We, of course, have a different variation for each student, but last year we had an awesome response rate, 106 respondents out of 152 surveys that went out, and out of that we found out that 91% of students would want their mentor again next year. When we drilled down to stats a little bit, a few of the students that said no were ones that already knew they were moving away, and then 90% of them would recommend having a mentor to a friend. And then the chart here, we are really trying our best to ensure that our mentors are helping students in different ways, one of which is goal setting, talking about their future, helping them see what's available to them. Students don't know what they don't know, and that's where a mentor can really help. And we're happy to report that out of, average of 5 stars, over 4 stars on each of those stats, looking at the mentors, students feel encouraged by a mentor. They're achieving and setting goals with the mentor's help, and they're talking about their future, that this is someone that they've trusted and built a meaningful relationship that now they know will be supported even maybe beyond school as well. And when I just started speaking, I talked about the scholarships. In addition to that, like I mentioned, we've been trying to support our students in the academy specifically as they determine what their career path looks like. I know we have Sean here. I decided to use your picture, Sean, it's the first one on my gallery. And Sean and colleagues from the City of Danbury's HR department did talk to students about, what it means to be interviewed in HR and what that world looks like. And we've really tried our best to help all the academies consistently in finding speakers to talk about their career fields and make those connections, as we heard earlier tonight, because students really need to see what it looks like, to understand what it would be to become a lawyer, to work as an engineer, and to hear the honest stories from these people from the field. And then most recently, we brought a group of students to different campuses throughout Connecticut. We went to Southern, Central, WestCon, and Naugatuck Valley Community College in Waterbury to, again, expose students to what is available to them. So students that had a mentor were given preference to attend these trips, but we also expanded and offered it to other students as well. And the newest program that we've launched this year, we've called Connect to Careers, where we've partnered up with Beringer Ingelheim and Junior Achievement to pilot hybrid mentoring. So in this program, students specifically in the Scientific Innovation and Medicine Academy have been partnered with scientists and mentors in clinical development and all pharmaceutical areas for Beringer Ingelheim to work on a project posed by Junior Achievement. And the students are actually presenting their projects tomorrow morning over in the Black Box at Danbury High School West. So we really kept this a small pilot to see what works and what it could look like in the future, knowing that there's of course some hiccups with virtual mentoring, but on the whole, it's worked out very well. The students have been very responsive, making sure they show up to their virtual mentoring sessions, and we've had great feedback from the mentors as well, that they really enjoyed working with students. A lot of these mentors are scientists that can't leave their labs, but they still they've wanted to get involved over the years. So now we have a great group of 7 mentors and working with these 7 students, and now we're hoping to double that next year and hopefully bring it to the other academies as well, and potentially bring on other partners in the future. It's been a great program. Again, it's been a free program for these students. They'll be a part of our scholarship program, and also there's a special cash award for the students as well. So if you're around tomorrow morning at 9:30 and you want to join us, you're all invited to hear these great students present their projects. And then last but not least, of course, I just want to make a note about our budget that I did mention how we've grown significantly. We were at 150 students this time last year. Now we're at 226 students. Our goal by 2028 is to reach 400 students in Danbury. And of course, we'll do that through our community business partnership, through other programs, like we're piloting this hybrid mentoring program. But of course, our funding needs to increase with that. So we are so appreciative of the Danbury Public Schools support. And we've also really tried to, of course, be lean, but also diversify our funding with finding new grants and new funding partners. And right now we have grown our staff. So it's myself as executive director. We have a full-time marketing operations manager now. We also have a part-time program coordinator. So with that, of course, we're investing a lot in our program, and we are starting to do a little fundraising as well to help offset our costs. And the next slide, I'll show everyone. Oh no, one after that, sorry about that, but it's okay. I'll come back to that one at the end, but I just want to make a quick note about our scholarship and awards breakfast that I'll share about in a moment. But before I get to that, like I mentioned, our audacious goal is to reach 400 mentor-mentee matches in 3 years. And this came out of our strategic plan that we wrapped up at the end of last fiscal year and really started implementing this year. One is really trying to develop and track metrics. So as I showed you before with the goal setting, we're really trying to see what is the impact that our mentors are having on our students. And we're really trying to drill down more to understand that impact. Of course, we have a lot of qualitative feedback. We're looking for more quantitative feedback, or quantitative data, and that's what we're working on. We're piloting the hybrid mentoring, as I mentioned, and we've been holding additional mentor supports, mentor mingles, monthly mentor chats, really continue to support our volunteers because we know that they're giving up their time. We need to fill their cup so they can fill the cup of our students. And as I mentioned with the marketing and outreach, we've been doing a lot of that to ensure that we are really engaging with our community. And then we can jump to the next slide now. So last but not least, we do have our scholarship and awards breakfast coming up on Tuesday, June 2nd at 7:45 at the Amber Room. As I mentioned, it's our largest graduating class in 2 decades, and we're also going to be celebrating one of our longest serving mentor, Kathy Baris, who's been mentoring for 35 years consistently with DSABC. She started off, she was working at one of our business partners, Branson, who's still one of our business partners to this day. So we'll hear more about her story and some of her graduates that she worked with will be in attendance as well. But I hope all of you can be there and really see the impact and understand and see that these connections really are making a positive difference in our community. And that is all from me. I'll leave with this quote from one of our graduates last year that I feel like just truly encapsulates what the program does, and what we're trying to do is truly help people, support them in all aspects of their life. Thank you.
I just want to say I'm fairly new mentor, just doing it the past 6 months, and you don't realize as a mentor what you're getting out of it. And I didn't expect that when I started it. So I have to say it's been an amazing experience so far, and I'm so glad I did it. And I know there's other board members that also, and it's just, I know from my experience, it's just amazing. So thank you for what you do and for getting me involved.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Lisa.
it.
Thank you so much. No, really. And anyone wants to be a mentor, I'm more than happy to work with you. I know Kate's been mentoring this year too, so thank you. I know many of you have been involved in different ways. You know, Sean's mentor Minnie, we talk. So I feel like I know many of you from many different hats that I wear here in town. So thank you again for being a part of us and for your constant support.
Thank you. Alexis, DSABC is a huge part of our success network here and what we're trying to do. And you've been instrumental in growing the program, but also helping us serve so many more kids. So we appreciate you both and your team and all the work that you're doing to grow and match more mentors to our kids. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, awesome. Next up, Adult Education Program Director, Dr. Rick Rayusi. Come on up.
Evening, everybody. As Kara mentioned, my name is Rick Rayusi. I'm the Regional Director for Adult and Continuing Ed here in Danbury. So our mission at WeRace, which is the Western Connecticut Regional Adult and Continuing Education Program, is to foster lifelong learning, right? Not only do we offer state-mandated programming, which we're going to go over in just a moment, but we're also expanding into workforce readiness programs and preparation programs. And into the fall of next year, we're finally going to get an enrichment program off the ground, which is great. We are a regional program. In addition to serving Danbury, we serve 7 other municipalities that pay into our program. So they give Danbury Public Schools funding to support their residents with that programming. In the last 3 years alone, we've brought in over $1.5 million in grants that we hadn't previously gotten. In that time alone, so in addition to the presentation that's up on the board, you guys have 3 handouts in front of you. I know some of you guys were here in the old building when I first presented and I got to Danbury. When we first got here and kind of revamped the program, we were at 240 students. So far to 2 days ago, we've served 1327, right? We're not in a new building yet. We're looking forward to that soon. But we have kind of leveled out with our enrollment. The last 2 years, we've had 30 student differences from last year to this year. So we have expanded exponentially. We are the only provider in the state out of 44 adult ed providers across the entire state that has seen this type of expansion, an increase in enrollment. And as of last year, we were the lowest, the second lowest in the entire state in per pupil expenditures and investment, right? So we're really stretching every dollar as far as we can. And it's paying off. We're going to talk a little bit about that shortly. So in the state of Connecticut, there are 3 pathways to complete high school. In the state of Connecticut, every municipality has to offer their residents high school completion for those that didn't find success in a traditional high school. The first option is a credit diploma program. It mirrors a traditional high school diploma. They complete 25 credits. They're awarded a high school diploma at the end of that. The second is probably the one that all of you are familiar with, the GED, right? We prepare students to take those 4 exams in each of the core subjects. Upon completion of those 4 exams, they're getting a GED certificate. The third is the National External Diploma Program. This is often for people that are coming in from another country or that didn't find success in a traditional high school but have life experiences that would amount to a high school graduate. So this is less of a preparation program and more of an assessment program. We're assessing that they have the skills when they come into us. They're working with an assessor to show those skills over the course of 8 modules. And that awards a high school diploma. We currently offer all 3 of these, which is great. We're one of very few providers in the state that offer all 3 of these. We have about 200 students that utilize across all 3 of these for high school completion. The other 2 requirements in the state of Connecticut are ESL, which is English as a second language. I know in a traditional pre-K-12 school, it goes by a different term. In the federal grants that support adult education, this is how it's listed, so this is how we refer to it in the adult ed world. You will notice on this fact sheet that I provided you guys, that is by far our largest population, right? I'm gonna share with you guys briefly, a vast majority of the people that we serve are parents of current DPS students. 90% of the people that we serve, so 90% of that 1,300 people that we serve currently have a kid in our Danbury Public Schools. And a vast majority of them are coming to us for ESL services. The last piece is naturalization preparation. So we walk them through the immigration process, the different applications that they have to fill out, and we prepare them to take the civics test. The piece that I am most proud of in our work over the last 3 years is our family literacy programming. So if you were on the board last year, you heard me talk about how we have branched into elementary schools. And what we're doing there is pretty remarkable. Parents of the elementary schools are coming at night. They're bringing their kids. Their kids are engaging in early childhood and elementary education at night, so they're getting additional time with those academic skills to build additional foundations in addition to what they get during the day, while their parents attend ESL classes, right, or GED classes. In addition to that, they're also getting parenting education. So we're coaching them and teaching them about these are the norms of a child growing up. This is how you can support your kid at home. This is how the American school system works. Because for many of them, they're not as familiar with those norms as we would expect. It also allows us a very captive audience, right? We're seeing almost more than 1,300 people on a regular basis that are coming to us because they want to. We don't have to chase them. We don't have to call them and say, hey, you know, are you coming to class? They're coming to us because they know that we can help them and their families. And so what we have spent a lot of time doing over the last 2 years is trying to purposely plan our program so that we're supporting the district's goals, the larger district's goals, right? When a lot of people think about adult education, the first thing that comes to mind is, oh, it's the GED program, right? We're so much more than that. We were last year, and we're likely to be this year, the largest family literacy program in the state. The model that we put together for our program last year was so effective that the state actually asked us to build a statewide curriculum map. So that's pretty excellent because up until 3 years ago, we didn't have a family literacy program, right? So we've invested a lot of time and money into that. And what we found over the cohorts that we had last year is the folks that were attending these family literacy programs, they had a much lower rate of chronic absenteeism, a much higher rate of parent participation, right? So we're really trying to be purposeful with how we're supporting the school district, which this infographic shows, because when we support each other, the whole community wins. These are our outcomes. So they're pretty outstanding. They've grown year over year, right? 96% of the parents in this program noted that they gained confidence in supporting their child's education. So we're talking to them about what reading can look like at home, what literacy skills can look like at home, what math skills can look like at home. 91% have gained a better ability to communicate with their child's teacher. We talk about how to draft an email. Some of them haven't opened a computer ever. So we're going over technology skills. We're going over how to set up an email. We're going over how to talk to a teacher, how to email a teacher, how to reach out to a teacher for help. 90% have felt more connected to their kids' school community. 95% found it easier to attend classes at their child's school. We've made it purposeful to bring it to the schools that need it most, that have the largest populations of folks that will actually attend these classes at night. You'll see in this picture, this was one of our family literacy evenings. So this year we partnered with Read to Grow. It's a nonprofit based in Brantford. They come with the bookmobile. This was our first night this year, back in January, and we had standing room only. We actually had to come up with a plan for the alternate days and the days that followed in case we had more than this show up, because we needed to push overflow into the gym and into the media center. So again, this is a program that a lot of people use, and they're coming wanting to be part of this, right? And so what we're looking to do in the coming years is to build that partnership even more with the elementary schools. If an elementary school is having trouble contacting a parent or partnering with a parent, we oftentimes have them in our programming, right, at night. So if you're having trouble catching them during the day, we can talk to them at night in our programs. We are piloting something this summer that speaks to kind of that initiative of how is our programming supporting the larger district. We are going to be piloting a Strong Start family literacy program. It will be for folks that are entering into kindergarten. They will be able to attend with their parent. It's a 7-week program, 2 nights a week. The parent will receive family literacy support and kind of the means of parent education as well as adult education. Once that 7 weeks is up, which will tail when the traditional school year starts, right? The parent will be able to continue through an ESL or a GED or high school completion through our regular programming through the year, but they'll actually be able to attend this summer programming with their child and prepare that child to get into kindergarten. And so what we're hoping to see through this program is lower absenteeism, right? Higher scores on their literacy assessments, because we're prepping them on how to work on things at home, how to understand how they can support their kid at home. For many of these parents that are going to be in this program, this is their first kid going through public school. So we're providing them an official way to kind of welcome them into the district, to make them feel part of the community. But in addition to that, how do we help them support their kid? Who are our learners? These are just some stats. So 90% of them from last school year were parents or guardians. We are very unique. We're one of the only adult ed providers in the entire state where a vast majority of the people that are coming to us for services are working, right? So if you go to other adult ed providers in urban areas, New Haven, Hartford, right? A vast majority of them are unemployed and they're coming to these adult ed programs to get better employment or to get a job. That's not to say that some people don't seek us out for that reason, but a vast majority of the people that are coming to our program are parents and they just want to know how to help their kid. So it really makes us a unique program. Our biggest demographic that we serve are 25 to 44-year-olds. And this is a pretty stark statistic. 19% read at or above intermediate school level in English when they enter our program. So that means 81% of the folks that enter into our program are entering in below a 6th grade reading level. Their median income is $36,865. Now I'm putting that statistic up here because if you take a look at the fact sheet, when they finish their high school diploma or their GED, we see an average of about $9,000 in gains, about 25% jump in the family household income, right? So what we have to do under federal law and under state law is we track our students for 4 quarters after they exit. We track them for a full year. We work with DOL. It matches their data to their tax forms, right? And we actually see how much are they earning the 2nd quarter and the 4th quarter after they exit, and how much has that increased. That's one of the metrics that we use to judge our success. For the last 3 years, we have met and exceeded. We've almost gone double what the state goal was for median annual income earnings. So we've had a lot of success in that field. We have a lot of new initiatives on the way. I've talked to you guys a little bit about the family literacy nights. We're currently partnered with CT State to offer an ESL bridge program. So what we found is as students are exiting our ESL program, they exit out at, past that 12th grade level with us, We're not allowed to use the state or federal funding to continue to service them, but they always ask us what's next, right? We partnered with CT State to offer a bridge program over the summer that we're piloting. We're going to continue that through the fall and the spring so that we can actually enroll them in CT State and continue their education with them. We've also started a credit diploma asynchronous program. This has been incredibly successful, not only for the students that need to take these classes on our end, but because it has been such a game changer for those students, 12 of the 14 CDP credit diploma program providers in the state actually contract us to have students take these classes. So it brings us money, and it actually makes it so that this program, the asynchronous program, is free to us, right? It covers the cost of that. We have gotten authority, once we move into the new building and have hardwired internet, to become a Pearson and ETS test center. That means that we will be able to test folks for the Para Pathways program, as well as Praxis and GED right on site, which will bring funding into our center to offset what you guys have to give us. Speaking of paraprofessional, so about 6 months ago, they changed over from Para-Pro to Para Pathways, right? So that's the new assessment that folks have to take in order to become a para if they don't have an associate's degree. We're running our first preparation program to prep people for that in the hopes of supporting the hiring needs of the district. I've worked really closely with Kim and with Kelly on this. That flyer has gone up for 72 hours. We have 57 people that have applied for this program. Right. So if our workforce data holds true over the last few years that we've had workforce programs, preparation programs, we'll see about 35 to 45 people that we can hire from that program. Okay. So that's pretty great. We also have been offering CT State dual and co-enrollment to our high school completion students. In addition to what we've done for that, because it doesn't cost us anything extra, we've partnered with Kelly's programs through Reach and Endeavor and ACE to have students actually take those classes at night so they can take a couple additional credits, potentially graduate on time or early. We've had just shy of 10 students utilize that this year, and it's been a pretty good success. So, you know, people that typically would not have access to higher education classes in high school are now getting that opportunity, which is great. We also, just today, about 6 hours ago, got clearance to become a proctor of the ServSafe program. So we're running our first cohort of that, which you'll see here. It is a full cohort. We have 22 people that are enrolled in it, all people that are working in the food industry and need that certification to kind of move up. And then I spoke a little bit about enrichment. That's going to be coming in the fall. These are all the partnerships, or some of the partnerships rather, that we have engaged in that has allowed us to do this. We are one of the only providers in the state that not only partners with the Regional Workforce Board, which is NRWIB, but we also partner with a second workforce board located in South Central that pays us to offer programming out of New Haven with Workforce Alliance. So, you know, we're getting a reputation for really providing strong programming, and people are asking us to provide programming to their clients and to their students and to their workers, which is great. So enrichment programming, this is kind of the last piece. If you remember when I presented 3 years ago, we had really hoped that we were going to get enrichment programming up and running, and then we got hit with 600 more students the next year, and that just wasn't possible. Through the grant funding that we've brought in, we were able to actually hire an enrichment coordinator. She started on Monday. We're very excited about that. She's hit the ground running. We've put together a timeline. There will be catalogs coming out to every house in Danbury in the fall for enrichment. We're shooting for 15 to 20 classes in the fall. The goal is by year 3, it's self-sustaining, right? Those are tuition-based classes. Those are the fun classes, the wine tasting, the beer making, the dancing, the painting, things like that. So we're very excited about that. The goal is in 3 years to have it up to 70 to 80 classes, right? Because at that point it really does become self-sustaining and actually offsets some of the costs that needs to go towards the state mandated programming. So we have quite a bit going on. I appreciate your support with this. We're really looking forward to a new building. I can't stress that enough. If you guys have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Is there any questions from the board members? Go ahead, Sean.
Can you talk about graduation?
night school, as it was called back in the day, and how emotional it is, and that it's a real thing. Because I think for people that haven't been there, you want to go see those people. I don't know how you run it now, but it was unbelievable.
Our graduation is the first week in June. Invitations will be coming out shortly from Cara Pompano. We would welcome, I know that a few of you guys attend every year. We love seeing you. The students love seeing it. And it's a great show of support from the community. There's usually quite a few non-dry eyes in the room because it is so powerful. For many of these students, you'll hear from our graduation speakers that they oftentimes didn't think that this was a possibility, right? And our program provides them that. So you're right, it is quite powerful.
One last question. Can you talk about the flexibility of the program also? I think people only see it as a 7 to 9, 6 to 8, and that certainly is not what you offer.
Sure. So I joke with my staff that I'm kind of on call 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Monday through Friday and 2 weekends every month. So what the name of the game is for us is, regardless of when you come in through our doors, we want a program that's going to help you, right? We have weekend seminars that have been very popular with our parents that are trying to complete their high school diplomas, because as a parent, it's easier to find a babysitter for 2 days back-to-back for full days rather than 16 days spread out over the course of the semester. We have asynchronous classes. We have computer labs that are open 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. and then 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. every day of the week. We really try and make it so that regardless of what your barriers are, we're going to help you get through those and reach your goals for a high school diploma, or to learn English, or to prep for your naturalization exam.
Anybody else have any questions? Kate?
Not so much a question, Rick. Thank you for all this information. You always bring a lot to the table for us to consider, and also do a lot for our community, so I appreciate that. I just wanted to compliment your team on this Strong Start Family Literacy pilot program you guys are starting. I was really excited to see this in the packet tonight, because we know that that intervention, the younger that we do that with students, the more successful their outcomes are going to be. So this is a great program, and I'm really excited to hear about the outcomes from it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? I just want to say too, I'm going to agree with Sean. I go to the graduation every year, and it's one of my favorites. So thank you for what you do.
Rick, I mean, you keep blowing us away with the numbers, the way that the program is growing. And I think, you're the epitome of, if you build it, they will come, and they're coming. The enrichment component too is phenomenal, because anybody can access those. It doesn't matter. You're not necessarily trying to finish a diploma, beer making and crocheting and all those things. I mean, we perked up over here, because those are things that we all need, to do something that's different than the ordinary. So I think the community appreciates that as well. Having access to that is really important. But the number of families that you're helping to build capital, social capital, in navigating the school system is so key for our families. And that directly impacts student achievement in the schools. 57 applications for the Para Pathways program. I don't think we've seen 57 applications for 80 positions posted in the last 3 years. So I'm very excited to stay on top of that number, and please keep us posted on how that's going. But your leadership on this program has been second to none, and your advocacy at the state level has been very critical, and we look forward to continued growth and partnership with you. You've done a phenomenal job. Thank you. Okay, get an action-packed day here, evening, I should say. I'll try to move through the superintendent report on the quicker side. So this week we had Danbury Day at the Hartford Capitol, and that is a day that it's just designated for Danbury, and I think Norwalk was there as well, from what I understand. And we had several board members attended. This was organized, and central office members, as well as Danbury NEA. Heather Lorenz brought her one of her classes, and this was organized through our state and local delegates to kind of facilitate A little bit of a concierge service at the Capitol, a little bit of a tour, and an opportunity to mix and mingle and to understand a little bit better how things work at the State Department level. So we appreciated everybody who attended that, and we're looking forward. I think we got some ideas, and Mike helped to organize that as well. I think we got some ideas coming back on what we could do maybe next year. It was kind of the first time in a long time I think we hadn't gone up for a Danbury Day since pre-COVID, and I have never attended one, so I was scheduled to go, but then could not at the last moment. So I'm looking forward to next year and making it better for everybody. I'd like to turn it over to Kelly, is going to give us an update on Granville Preschool expansion, which we're excited to talk about.
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Casimiro. So as you guys have been aware of over the course of the last handful of years, our preschool numbers continue to grow at exponential rates. And so this is our programming for both students with special needs as well as their typical peers. And so several years ago during COVID, we opened the Granville preschool site, which is an amazing facility. And as soon as we opened the doors, we had more students to serve than we had room in the brand new beautiful school. So we have been using Sacred Heart kind of for some overflow space in classrooms. Right now we have 3 classrooms at Sacred Heart and 10 at Granville. And so we have worked with Bob Botello, who is the owner of the building, to expand Granville so that we will be able to get all of our preschoolers at one site and location, which I am so grateful for. He has already started the work on the project. The church has moved out of the building, so we will convert the actual church space. He's basically gutted the interior into 3 classrooms, as well as multiple related services spaces and offices. And that will happen between now and the summer, so we will be able to expand into that section of the building, I apologize, that section of the building for next school year. And then we will also be adding on an additional 4 classrooms out the back of the building. We'll extend the hallway essentially and add 2 classrooms on the top level and 2 classrooms on the bottom level, which will give us an additional 7 spaces. So this should hopefully house our preschool program for a very long time. And so we're really just super excited about it. We'll be a little tight next year as we have 4 classrooms fitting into 3 classroom spaces, but we're going to make it work. And then the following year, we'll be able to grow and expand some of our related services areas for our students. So thank you, everyone.
Awesome. Thank you, Kelly.
Does anybody have any questions on that? I have one question. So what's happening over at Sacred Heart once we move out of there?
So the hope is to no longer need a lease on an additional space as we are increasing the lease on the Granville space. Right now, we have both special education preschool programs and school readiness. We have 2 classrooms of school readiness. So for the fall, we will not need to rent the full facility because the special ed classrooms will be moving out. We are still working to find spacing for the school readiness classes. So we may need to rent a portion of the building for next school year, but our hope is the year thereafter, we will be fully vacated from that lease.
Okay. And up next, just a little shout out to Pembroke School. We had a wonderful activity where board members and central office were invited as leaders to sit with their students for a little bit of a lunch and leadership activity where we had a chance to be interviewed by Pembroke students who were interested in leadership, asking us and challenging us on things, the way that we make decisions and when things are hard. And I thought it was just such a wonderful event. It was well organized. The kids were so mature. I appreciated the questions they asked. Got to know some of our board members a little bit better in that process. And I just thought it was so well done. And it's a real reflection of how schools build community and also how they prepare students for the real world. And I just appreciate it, and I appreciated the participation of both central office members and our Board of Ed members who were able to attend. So thank you. And then I have a very nice update, and I think everyone would appreciate this, and I did have a conversation with Mr. Flynn, but I know that there's been some stressors at the middle school level on the middle school bus schedule, particularly for West Side Academy, with the earlier start time, probably more so than the combining of the buses, was the earlier start time and the length of time that the bus takes to go around and collect all of the kids on the combined route. We've some of our numbers, our enrollment numbers have dipped a little bit, and with the combination of that and the number of riders and our ridership number, Kelly Watson did a tremendous job in reconfiguring what we think will be the runs, preliminary runs for next year. And with that, we feel very confident that we can get West Side Academy back on the regular middle school schedule and not do a combined run, which I think checks off a few boxes for folks who have had some concerns. I have to say it was really running rather smooth. The students were really well behaved together on the bus. That was really not the driving force so much as it was the time, particularly during the winter when we had increased parent drop-offs and the line that were backing down onto Mill Plain and the traffic concerns and all of that really put the pressure. That was the pain point this winter. So we really did go back and try to see if there was any way we can eke out some more bus space in our runs without really combining or adding more to the budget than what was already needed for next year with the high school. So we're happy to report they're able to do that. Mr. Flynn notified the staff yesterday that this was a possibility, and then we'll be sending something out to parents. So okay, that's it for that. Well, I do have one more thing. I just didn't know if there's any questions. Any questions? Okay. All right, and just one other item, and I know, over the last couple of years from time to time, we've brought up, how do we continue to, and this is a conversation that Luis and I have been having, how do we get more parents to come in and more students to come in to our Board of Ed meetings? Gladys and I talked about that as well, like, is the start time an issue for folks? Would we get more people coming in kind of right after work, willing to stop in after work for a bit? Is it that our board meetings start too late perhaps, and once families go home for the evening, that's it, they're not coming back out because they have little ones? So we've been talking a little bit about the start time. There's been a lot of school districts, if you look around, certainly have a much earlier start time than we have here in Danbury. And I think it's something that we should seriously consider. There are some schools, I think Louisa will mention some experiences with the visit she had, but 5:30, 5:45 seems to be a time when folks get out of work around 5, 4:30, 5 o'clock, and can make a swing past a board meeting and maybe more willing to participate and engage with the school system. But I do think our very late start time does exclude a lot of families from coming back out once they get the kids, once they cook dinner and get the kids off to bed and in the shower and all that stuff. So it's something that we'd like for everybody to seriously consider, and I hope that improves some of the participation.
Yeah, to add to that, when Al and I went to Waterbury, their board meetings start at 5:30, and you do see an increase in their attendance because it's right after work and they're picking up their kids, and this was at a school, so they were there for Spotlight Your School. So it was it just made it more conducive to bringing to what our goal is, to increase our participation. Also, just when we were at King Street, I was speaking to the PTO president there, and I talked to her a little bit at the book fair. And I told her our goal was to try to increase, parents coming. And the first thing she said to me was, "Your meetings are too late." She said, "It's hard." She said, "It's very hard for us, for parents with small kids to come back out to your board meetings." So in talking with Kara, we could give it a try for the upcoming year and see how it works with a 5:30 start time. And, try it out for the 26-27 school year, and then take it from there. If we see that it's not, doing much of a difference and we feel that it's too much of a burden to come, then we can switch it back. But, I'd like to get everybody's idea of what they think about this, because unfortunately, we've got to get the schedule done for next year, so we're kind of need to know where everybody falls on this for the coming year. So I'm going to just open it up and see if anybody has any comment. Okay. Oh, go ahead.
I just am concerned because we have a lot of meetings before the meeting. So then how would we?
Well, a lot of our meetings now are by Zoom, so we've shifted a lot off in person into Zoom meetings. Finance is on Zoom, policies on Zoom. I think sites we're doing in conjunction with our spotlights, but we also have other sites meetings that are Zoom. So, superintendent evaluation, I think, is the one that we have in person, but we could schedule that around there. So, and then
I
curriculum.
just like to see the meetings in person, even those little other ones. But that's my opinion.
Yeah,
So
and we
whatever.
could still do in-person meetings. I mean, that's not an issue.
So we would
That's
just have it.
We would just do it on another time. Yeah, exactly. Go ahead.
I think it's a great idea because I interact with families, and most times when we ask them why do not go to a board meeting, the first thing that they say, it's our dinner time, or we can't step out. That's very late. So, something to try, absolutely, we should, because the whole idea is to open it up for families and find ways to do it.
Anybody else? So do we want to try it out? Yeah, we good? Okay, all right. Awesome, thank you. Thank you. All right. Yes, go ahead, Gladys.
I'm going to do whatever it is to do. I just don't think it's, you're changing the time, okay? It's gonna bring more people into the board meeting. And we have seen over the years that people only come at a specific time of whatever they're interested in. They come in and make their statement and they leave. And we saw that at Hayestown. We only had one person. The staff was there, the presenter was there, and when that happened, they left. When it was at King Street, which was a hell of a place to get to at night because they was working and had detours everywhere, we only had one parent. Okay? Now, it's 5:30, it's gonna work for this board. I don't have any problem trying. But what I heard tonight was people do not understand at this point where we're having our board meeting, because every board meeting is at a different place. So then you take the meetings where you have had the meetings at, and who was there? We didn't have the community there. And to me, if you want to bring more people into the boardroom, look at it now. Look at it when the people did their presentations and left. So I just don't think changing the time is going to make a difference in who comes to the board meetings.
I certainly agree with the idea that when folks know there's a regular time and a place to be, that it's likelier that they're going to show up and participate on a regular basis. I agree with that point. I do think that whatever we can do to work on having people come into our board meetings, attend our board meetings is worthwhile. Perhaps trying something different will give us some perspective on, what works and what doesn't work. Maybe we are going to wind up having our meetings here instead, but maybe switching the time will make it a little easier for folks with younger kids especially to attend the meetings. So my personal feeling is maybe give it a try and see what happens. And if we find that it doesn't work, we always have the option to revert back to what we've been doing.
Great. Yeah, that's it.
Anybody from committee reports? Anybody have anything to report from the different committees? No? Okay, let's move on to our, go ahead, Juanita, yeah, I'm sorry.
I don't have anything to report, just for the, I believe, for the Sites and Facilities Committee. I think there's been a change on the start time for the next meeting.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we're going to go to action item A, and we'll start with Cindy. Can you start us off?
I make a motion the Board of Education accept the second reading of the adoption policy.
Excuse me, we can't hear anything.
Oh, you can't.
From down here.
You're exactly right.
I'm so sorry. I make a motion the Board of Education accept the second reading of the adoption policy 5121, examination, grading, and rating as recommended by the policy committee and in accordance with 26-70.
Thank you. Motion made by Cindy. Do I hear a second? Seconded by Lauren. Any comments, questions, or concerns? No, seeing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Juanita, could you do B for me, please?
Sure. Motion that the Board of Education accept for second reading and adoption policy 5121.2 honor roll as recommended by the policy committee and in accordance with exhibit 26-71.
Thank you. Motion made by Juanita, seconded by Al. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Sherry, can you do C?
I motion that the Board of Education accept for second reading and adoption policy 5144.4, physical exercise and discipline of students, as recommended by the policy committee and in accordance with 26-72.
Thank you. Motion made by Sherry. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Seconded by Al. Any comments, questions, or concerns on that? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Kate, can you do D for me?
I'll make a motion that the Board of Education accept for second reading and adoption policy 5122.1, alternative education programs, as recommended by the policy committee and in accordance with exhibit 26-73.
Motion made by Kate. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Seconded by Al. Any comments, questions, or concerns? No, seeing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Al, could you do E for me?
Motion that, the motion that the Board of Education accept the March 2026 financial report as recommended by the Financial Committee in accordance with Exhibit 26-74.
Thank you. Motion made by Al. Do I hear a second? Seconded by Kate. Any comments, questions, or concerns? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, Lauren, could you do F for me?
I make a motion that the Board of Education approve the transfer, the transfer of funds from prior year's excess not to exceed 2% to the district's non-lapsing account as recommended by the Finance Committee and in accordance with 26-75.
Thank you. Motion made by Lauren. Do I hear a second? Second. Seconded by Al. Any comments, questions, or concerns? Yes, go ahead, Kate.
I just want to clarify that 2% is 2% of the total general funds budget, correct? Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Sean, could you do G?
Give me the long one, that's all right. I motion that pursuant to the CGS Section 10-215F, the Danbury Public Schools certifies that all food items offered for sale to students in the schools under its jurisdiction and not exempted from the Connecticut Nutritional Standards published by the State of Connecticut Department of Education will comply with the Connecticut Nutritional Standards during the period of July 1st, 2026 through June 30th, 2027. This certification shall include all food offered for sale to students separately from reimbursable meals at all times and from all sources, including but not limited to the school stores, vending machines, school cafeterias, culinary programs, and any fundraising activities on school premises sponsored by the school or non-school organization and groups in accordance with Exhibit 26-76.
Thank you, Sean. Motion made by Sean. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Seconded by Al. Any comments, questions, or concerns? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, Minnie, can you do the longest one?
Yes, I got a long one too. Great. Okay. Motion that Danbury Public Schools will allow the sale to students of food items that do not meet the Connecticut nutrition standards and the beverages not listed in Section 10-221Q of the Connecticut General Statutes, provided that the following conditions are met. One, the sale is in connection with an event occurring after the end of the regular school day or on the weekend. Two, the sale is at the location of the event. And three, the food and beverage items are not sold from a vending machine or school store. An event is an occurrence that involves more than just a regularly scheduled practice, meeting, or extracurricular activity. For example, soccer games, school plays, and interscholastic debates are events, but soccer practices, play rehearsals, and debate team meetings are not. The regular school day is the period from midnight before to 30 minutes after the end of the school day. Location means where the event is being held and must be in the same place as the food and beverages sales, in accordance with the Exhibit 26-76.
I have a motion made by Minnie. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Seconded by Kate. Any comments, questions, or concerns? Okay, so
I don't vote, but I have a quick question.
yes, go ahead.
Mike, this is for Mike Weaver. Mike, in the first line, motion that the Danbury Public Schools will allow the sale to students of food items that do not meet. Should it say will not allow?
No, so item G that was voted on prior is for the healthy food certification.
Yep.
H is the exemption of, if that makes any sense. So you're allowing the sale or allowing for the exemption in.
During those special.
Got it.
Oh, during-
Okay, sorry.
Yep.
All right, I'm just
Okay.
making sure.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
Certain things they're allowed to have and other things they're not allowed to have during the school day or on the premises? I'm confused. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so for, in letter G is the healthy food certification that's during the day for items for sale for the students. H, it provides for an exemption if it's outside of that period, and then it gives, several examples, on the weekends or after school.
Like if they have a bake sale, right? Like a bake sale at the school play.
Right.
Okay.
They're saying that's okay by this exemption.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Any other questions or comments before we take a vote? No?
Sorry if I caused a tizzy.
No, that's good. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. I just have a really quick chair report. I just want to first thank my board members who attended the ad hoc and our public hearing. It was a very smooth ad hoc, probably one of the smoothest that I have attended since being on the board. And it was a public hearing, it was very quiet and short, but it was good. So I appreciate everybody who attended. Even though you don't speak, your support there, your presence, just shows support for the district and for the students and for everybody who was there. So thank you for that. The budget vote is set for May 5th for those who would like to attend. It's during the city council meeting on Tuesday. I will be going. Let's see. We are working to put together a board retreat/workshop for sometime toward the end of August. And we have a few topics that we'll be working on as a board together. We have some board policies that we need to kind of work up, and we'll also do some, board self-evaluation and stuff like that, so reflections and that type of thing. So more information will come out on this, and we'll get save the date for you. As soon as we get it, I'll have Kara send it out to you. But just so you all know, end of August, we're planning for that. And let's see, May 13th will be at Stadley Ruff, so that's our next meeting. Okay. And with that, I'm just going to open it up for board discussion, because I know it's been a few weeks, and I know people have been out and about in the community, so I'd like to hear, if anybody wants to talk about where they've been. I know people went to yesterday and all sorts of Pembroke. Go ahead, Minnie.
I know you did mention about it, but I did stop by Pembroke. It was a great little event. And it was great conversation, especially the student body, the whole idea of talking about elections and how it was amazing to see and listen to the kids and then share our lived experiences with them. So I thought it was a great opportunity.
Kate, Cindy, and I were at the judging for Westside Middle School for the National Geographic and their project for plastics, and it was incredible. And we're talking about soft skills, and a couple of my groups put out their hand, looked me in the eye, smiled. They were dressed for success. So all the things, that we've been talking about. So they're doing a great job over there. That's what I was thinking. Right, we had a good time.
I attended the South Street School kindergarten art show on the 20th. The 4 students, which were all kindergarten, did a beautiful presentation. And Mrs. Davison, she's retiring this year, but I have been going for the last couple of years, and she has did an awesome job with her students. And they talked about, their presentation was on the ocean. And I learned some things that I didn't know about the ocean. So, and they were very excited. They weren't afraid, and these were kindergarten, standing up there with the pointer and going over everything. So it was really nice.
It was. Anybody else? Yeah, go ahead, Sherry.
Also, the artwork with the artist that they represented, the mother-child, it was phenomenal. I couldn't get over that these little tiny 5-year-olds, what they drew. It was, I videotaped the whole thing, and their vocabulary with the poker, right? Yeah. Anemones, they were talking about Nemo. They were amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead, Minnie.
I did attend the Family University. It was very well organized and great attendance and nutrition. That it was so important that we have those conversations with parents. And it was a fun thing, the way whoever the lady was, she presented it. But so, it was fun for the kids also. So it was a great event.
Great. Anything else? Anybody else? No? All right. Well, with that, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I make that motion to adjourn.
Do I hear a second? Seconded by Sean. All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you.